Some towns do not just keep quiet, they keep score. Behind the quaint storefronts and friendly locals, 6 towns in this list have spent decades burying secrets that swallow anyone who gets too close.
We're out there, you gotta be careful.
I am being careful.
Silent Hill. Christoph Gans directs this 2006 adaptation of the horror video game, following Rose da Silva, a mother who takes her adopted daughter Sharon to a cursed town to cure her sleepwalking. Sharon has cried out the name Silent Hill for months, so Rose drives to the abandoned West Virginia town against her husband Christopher's wishes. A motorcycle officer, Sybil Bennett, stops Rose along the way and follows her. Nearing the town, a girl steps into the road and Rose crashes and blacks out. She wakes to find Sharon missing and the town buried in ash and fog. Rose pursues a girl resembling Sharon as the town collapses into a nightmare dimension of deformed creatures, among them the towering Red Pyramid. Sybil catches up, and they find every road out of Silent Hill loops back on itself. Rose learns of Alessa Gillespie, a girl born out of wedlock who was assaulted by the school janitor and blamed for it by the town's fanatical cult, the Brethren. Christabella, the cult's priestess, burns Alessa alive as a witch in 1974, igniting an underground coal fire burning beneath the town. The trauma splits Alessa's soul in two, one half becoming the dark force twisting Silent Hill, the other becoming Sharon, given up for adoption. Brethren members lead Rose and Sybil to a hospital claiming Sharon is below, but Christabella recognizes Sharon's photo and brands both women as witches. Sybil holds off the cult, while Rose descends alone into Alessa's old room and learns the truth. Rose lets Alessa's dark half possess her body to reach the church, where Christabella has Sharon and Sybil bound for burning. Christabella sets Sybil alight and stabs Rose through the heart, and Alessa erupts from the wound in adult disfigured form, tearing Christabella and the Brethren apart with barbed wire. Rose escapes with Sharon, who reabsorbs Alessa's dark half into one body, but they find themselves trapped in the fog-bound town, sealed off from reality, while Christopher wakes alone. Silent Hill exposes a town, built to bury the truth about one little girl. Blood Glacier. Marvin Kren directs this 2013 Austrian creature feature, following Yannick, a technician at a remote Alps research station who discovers a strange red liquid oozing from a melting glacier. Yannick and mineralogist Falk investigate the source, where a mutated fox bites Yannick's dog, Tinny. Back at the station, scientist Berta finds the liquid can merge DNA from different species into monstrous hybrids. The station soon expects a visit from the region's climate minister, guided by Yannick's former girlfriend, Tanya. Before they arrive, Yannick is attacked by a mutated fox with an insect's head, but the team dismisses his warning. As Tanya guides the minister's hikers toward the station, one of them, Urs, is bitten by a mutated insect and collapses. The group finds a local woman named Gelly, already hurt by a mutated falcon, moments before the same falcon kills another hiker, Luca. Yannick reaches the group and leads the survivors back to base. Meanwhile, at the station, one of the creature specimens suffocates Berta, and Falk accidentally kills her trying to beat it off with a rock. In his cabin, Tanya reveals a secret abortion from their past, and the two put Tinny down as the infection spreads. The station then comes under assault, and once it subsides, the three set out for the satellite phone. Back at base, the minister cuts a creature from Gelly's thigh in surgery, while Urs stumbles in covered in pustules that burst with insects before he drops dead. Station technician Harold then dies after accidentally setting himself and the station on fire. Falk threatens Yannick and Tanya outside before a creature kills him and attacks Yannick until Tanya fights it off. They return to learn Gelly has died of her injuries. A rescue helicopter arrives for the group, but before boarding, Yannick and Tanya find a newborn creature curled where Tinny once slept. Yannick moves to kill it, but Tanya stops him, and they carry it onto the helicopter as it lifts off past the glacier. The survivors leave alive, carrying home the secret that killed nearly everyone else on the mountain. The Shrine. John Knautz directs this 2010 Canadian film, opening as an unnamed man is tied to a table and killed with a sledgehammer to the face by a masked assailant. A journalist named Carmen wants to investigate the disappearance of the murdered man, Eric Taylor. Her boss refuses to authorize the story, but Carmen pursues it anyway, convincing her boyfriend Marcus, a photographer, and her intern Sarah to join her on a trip to Eric's last known location, the remote Polish village of Alvania. In the village, a local guide named Henrik warns the group away from a dense patch of fog hanging over one section of the forest, but Carmen pushes the group to investigate it anyway. Inside the fog, Sarah vanishes and reemerges disoriented, and Carmen glimpses a demonic statue whose eyes bleed and whose heart begins to beat. As the group returns to their car, a village girl named Lydia leads them instead to a hidden shrine filled with corpses, each with a metal mask fused into the face, confirming Eric's fate. The villagers capture the group, and their cult leader, Arcadius, condemns Sarah and Carmen to death for having seen the statue, while Marcus is sent to dig his own grave. Marcus overpowers his guard and frees himself, but he is too late for Sarah, whom Arcadius kills the same way Eric dies, driving a masked helmet through her face with a sledgehammer. Marcus rescues Carmen, and the pair flee to a villager's house, where Carmen begins hallucinating that everyone around her, including Marcus, has turned demonic. While hidden, she is possessed and kills the family inside before turning on Marcus and several cultists. Henrik and the remaining villagers subdue her with prayers and holy water, and Marcus, now understanding they were never sacrificing anyone but containing a curse, holds her down as Henrik kills Carmen with the same mask. Marcus is released and told the fog and statue are an ancient curse on the village that can never be lifted. Alvania protects what waits in that fog by feeding it anyone who dares to see it. Dagon. Stuart Gordon directs this 2001 Spanish film, following a stockbroker named Paul Marsh on a boat trip off the coast of Spain with his girlfriend Barbara and friends Vicky and Howard. A storm wrecks the boat on hidden rocks. Paul and Barbara take a lifeboat to the nearby village of Imboca for help, leaving Howard and Vicky trapped on the wrecked boat when an unseen creature attacks it. Separated from Barbara, Paul hides in an abandoned tannery where he finds Howard's skinned body. He escapes by setting the tannery on fire and meets Ezekiel, the last full-blooded human in Imboca. Ezekiel explains that decades earlier, a sea captain named Orpheus Cambaro leads the villagers to abandon their faith and worship Dagon for wealth from the sea. Dagon later demands sacrifices and women to breed with, and the villagers, now transformed into fish-like hybrids, still serve him. Trying to steal a car, Paul is chased into a manor, where a woman named Uxia saves him from capture, but he flees on discovering her legs have become tentacles, then crashes the car and is captured. Reunited with Barbara, Ezekiel, and Vicky, who has lost a leg and been assaulted and impregnated by Dagon, Paul watches her take her own life. The cult then flays Ezekiel alive in front of Paul when he refuses to convert. Uxia saves Paul and offers to release Barbara if he stays, then leaves to arrange their marriage instead. Paul escapes, kills 2 guards, and finds Barbara chained above a ritual pit beneath the church. He sets several cultists on fire and pulls Barbara up, but tentacles drag her into the water below, leaving only her severed hands behind. Uxia and a deformed cult elder stop the villagers from killing Paul, and Uxia reveals the elder is their shared father. Paul tries to burn himself alive rather than accept it, but Uxia pulls him into the water, where gills open on his chest, and he follows her into Dagon's undersea world. Imboca's true secret is the god its people never stopped feeding. House of Wax. Jaume Collet-Serra directs this 2005 slasher remake, which follows Carly Jones, her twin brother Nick, her boyfriend Wade, and friends Dalton, Paige, and Blake as they camp overnight on the way to a football game. A stranger named Lester drives past their campsite after Nick damages his truck's headlight, and the group discovers their car's fan belt has been cut. The next day, Lester offers to drive Wade and Carly into the town of Ambrose while the others head on to the game. In Ambrose, a mechanic named Bo Sinclair offers to sell them a fan belt once he finishes a funeral. And while waiting, Wade and Carly explore the town's main attraction, a wax museum built by Bo's late mother, Trudy. When Wade goes inside Bo's house to use the bathroom, Bo's disfigured twin, Vincent, ambushes him, wearing a wax mask over scarring from a childhood separation surgery. Carly notices the broken headlight on Bo's truck and flees, but Bo captures her and locks her in a cellar. Meanwhile, Nick and Dalton arrive in Ambrose searching for their missing friends. Bo cuts off the tip of Carly's finger before Nick rescues her, and Dalton finds Wade encased in wax, accidentally tearing off his skin while trying to free him. Vincent kills Wade and decapitates Dalton. The group then realizes the wax figures throughout town are coated corpses of past visitors, since Vincent has continued his mother's sculpting work while Bo pushes him to use real people. At the campsite, Vincent kills Blake and chases Paige to an old sugar mill, where he kills her too. Back at the museum, Nick sets the building on fire by accident, and Carly beats Bo to death with a bat as Vincent chases her upstairs. Nick helps her stab Vincent, whose body falls onto his brother's corpse below. The siblings escape as the house melts down. Authorities later reveal Ambrose has sat abandoned for a decade since its sugar mill shut down, and as the pair are driven off in an ambulance, they pass Lester, the family's third son, smiling and waving goodbye. The Soul Eater. Julien Maury and Alexandre Bustillo direct this 2024 French thriller centering on police captain Frank de Roland, who is investigating the disappearance of several children near Rocanoir. Commander Elizabeth Guardiano gives him a ride after she is called to a double murder, where a married couple, the Vassels, are found having stabbed each other to death. At the scene, Elizabeth finds the couple's 12-year-old son Evan hiding in the basement. A psychiatrist named Carol Marbus initially blocks Frank from seeing the boy, but he sneaks in to interview Evan, who blames a boogeyman called the Soul Eater for his parents' deaths and claims all the missing children are already dead. As more bodies turn up, including a sawmill owner and later a religious woman named Maris, whose husband Henry kills her in a sudden fit of rage, Elizabeth and Frank uncover a pattern. Each victim runs a hidden online ring built around child exploitation and abuse, and each murder scene contains a small wooden carving of a horned figure. The investigators also learn that Evan and a second victimized child, Jean, secretly obtain a hallucinogenic drug smuggled in from a nearby plane crash and use it to poison the men responsible, driving them to kill each other and themselves. Following leads to an abandoned sanitarium, Elizabeth and Frank find torture equipment and discover Evan and Jean chained inside. A masked figure then ambushes Frank, and Elizabeth unmasks her as Carol Marbas, the children's psychiatrist and the ring's final member, still active in the abuse network. Carol shows Frank disturbing footage from the abuse ring and reveals the crematorium where missing children were killed. Frank spares her from being shot outright, but Evan and Jean force the drug into her mouth, and Frank leaves her with a knife she uses on herself once the hallucinations take hold. He locks her body inside and sets the crematorium on fire. As Elizabeth leads the surviving children out, Frank hands her his gun and walks away alone. Rocanoir's quiet decline hides a group of men who prey on its own children. That's the list. Subscribe and hit like if this one got under your skin, and stay tuned, more horror breakdowns are on the way.